You were wandering around with your lucky little pass this week. I
Yep.
seen you standing on the driving range.
Yeah.
Did you see anything there just interesting on the range? Were you watching anybody? Did you get any insight into maybe what players do before they go and play a round of golf? How they prepare?
They hit it really good.
Yeah, they do hit it good.
Um,
I noticed that from up in my peasant seats.
Yeah. I think one big thing that you could take away from that's my favourite thing to do when I go to the Open, literally standing on the range. I just love watching all the golf swings. Like, there's so many different ways that we can do it, and they all just do it, in a manner that works for them. They're not trying to get caught up in all what's going around them. But I think what a lot of, you like I say, you could take away from them is they just get that. Like, it always seems to me like it's just a calibration zone.
Yeah.
Like, you see alignment canes out. Like, every pro that I saw, if they were sort of Tuesday, Wednesday, definitely, Thursday, Friday, nearly 100% of them, there was an alignment cane out at some point. Like, generally when it was like getting into the starting point of the warm up, and they're just like, right, okay, let's just check that my shoulder alignment's correct, my feet are correct, right, okay, where's my ball position? Okay, that's good. There wasn't any, weird and magical like lessons happening. There was, obviously the pros are there, like your Pete Cowans and so on, but they're not really doing a lot.
That's the easiest coaching job in the world at that point.
Yeah,
Walk past the player and go, yep, looks good.
Yeah, just sort of giving them a little bit of confidence. Just maybe, just watch this one thing, but there's no rebuilds going on. There's just right, yeah, you're good to go. Everything's in line. Everything looking good. Off you go. And then the other thing is they obviously all are very fortunate in that they have a lot of money and they have access to things, but they have launch monitors.
Yeah.
And they are getting the distances, because obviously a lot of them spend the time out on the PGA Tour, where it's generally very warm, it's generally very nice. They come over to Scotland, it was nice weather, but it's colder, it's windier, the air's heavier, so the ball's not going the same. So it's not just like, oh well, my 7-iron goes 150. Now that we've gone across the world and playing in a different climate, different conditions, it still goes 150. So there was nothing that, like I say, that blew me away. It was like, right, let's check the basics and let's just check where we're at with our numbers. So, for listeners out there who are able to maybe go and see a pro who has a launch monitor, maybe if it's just one session that you go for gapping and you get a baseline, good, you've got somewhere to go from. And then when you're maybe going through a little bit of a tough time with your golf swing, instead of like that panic and that, I need to change everything, what do we need to do? I think that's let's just revert back to basics. Let's just make sure those things are right, because generally every problem that you'll find falls back to those. Yep. One of those has fallen out of line. And then you make compensations to try and correct it without actually just, right, okay, well, my right hand slipped under the grip a little bit more.
Yeah, it's the cause and effect in a golf swing, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's the fact that I might be topping it, and that's the effect that everybody sees. Mm-hmm. But the cause of that could be literally as simple as ball positions too far forward.
Yeah,
it could
exactly.
Be anything. Yeah. I think generally your amateur golfers or beginner golfers seem reluctant to get the sticks out, or they think once they've walked out of the lesson, I'll be in a lesson and we'll have alignment canes down, and they don't come out again until the
towel
next
holders,
lesson.
Aren't they?
Yeah, towel holders.
That's all. You put your head cover or your towel on them
if you own them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you set up when you go whether you go the driving range or whether you go out to your practice ground on the golf course, set yourself up a little station.
Yeah.
It's not just there for during a lesson. And as you say, there the pros are playing with alignment canes out. Justin Thomas had a grip trainer on.
Yeah,
6 weeks ago, I think it was.
Yeah. Scheffler hits balls with that all the time, warming up. So, and then they also changed target as well. That was all. One thing that was noticeable. It was like, okay, I'm hitting to there, right? Okay, let's just switch. Go like 90 degrees to the left. Okay, can I still realign? Bang, good. So yeah, it's I do love, like I say, watching them on the range and just seeing what's going on a little bit and finding out any little idiosyncrasies is it?
The change in ball flight is great, the way they just sort of go, there's a low one, there's a medium one, there's a high one, low draw, high draw. And I know that might sound sounds far-fetched for us to suggest people go and maybe go into that detail. Maybe just hit your shot a little bit more if you are sort of your standard handicap golfer, but watching watching them flush every single shot shape.
Yeah, they hit
And
bad ones as well, though.
They do, yeah.
They do hit
On the
some
range,
bad
they do.
ones. Yeah.
I watched Harrington sort of dial up his bag.
Yeah.
And he started.
Classing it.
I think we turned up when he was probably on about his 8 iron,
Mm.
but he'd been on the screen as well in the Tented Village,
Mm.
and he pulls driver out, and it was just sort of, there's a driver, then there's a slightly bigger one, then there's a stepped on one, and his driver just sort of went from 275 into carrying it 312 and then
Yeah.
dropped it back down again.
He's impressive, he is.
Class.
I spent about half an hour watching him. He just flushes it.
Well, we were saying when we were sitting there one night, weren't we? You were saying he's faster now than he was sort of back in his winning days of
Yeah.
08 when he was winning the Open then.
Yeah.